ओमज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरुं श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांस च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगना रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजना सहितं कृष्ण चैतन्य देवं श्री कृष्ण पादा सहगना ललितां श्री विशाखान्वितां च नमो ओं विष्णुपादाय कृष्ण प्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी निधि नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे मुखं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्यमीश्वरम् हरे कृष्ण. So one time, His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj, who is our revered spiritual master, was in Chowpatty temple addressing some youth boys. He was addressing some youth boys. So, and then the topic, the discussion, a topic came that behind every man success, there is a woman. This is a very famous statement. Behind every man's success, there is a. So then one boy in curiosity raised his hand and asked Radhanath Swami Maharaj, Maharaj, I would like to know, in your success throughout all this life as a sannyasi, as a preacher in the ISKCON movement, traveling all over the world, establishing the movement everywhere, trying to set many inspiring example in front of many people. So I would like to know which woman is behind your success. So that was the question he asked. And all the boys who were curious to know from Maharaj. And Maharaj, without any hesitation, without any doubt, sannyasi, sannyasi speaking like that. He kept his head down, humbled, and he mentioned, behind my success, also there is one woman. And then everyone wanted to hear, what is that name? Then Maharaj mentioned, she is Srimati Radharani. So in the Bhakti culture or philosophy, women played a very vital role. Certainly, from the perspective of the life also, living in this metro world, women surely played a very important role, and she began the life. But from spiritual perspective also, in the spiritual culture also, women played a very vital role. But question comes, why Ram then banned Sita? And why Draupadi was dealt like that? And if feminine does in ISKCON, whether man and women are given equal rights? Does in the society outside, the way things are being opposed about a woman, obsession on the particular woman, how that has to be seen from her spiritual perspective, and also understand its modern application is very crucial. So here we would like to invite two special ladies. I would like to add how to add this. Okay, fine. Okay, anyway, I will mention here. I would like to invite here Megha Kumari Mataji. She's a wonderful lady. I hope I had met her around 3-4 years before lockdown, around 3 years back. She is a very devoted lady, highly professional in her career, and also when she came in Krishna consciousness, she embraced Krishna consciousness very closely to her heart, and she brought up in such a wonderful culture from her house, because of which she has balanced both spiritual aspects and the modern uh, ways of life. She's a development consultant. She did her graduation from KIT Bhubaneswar, and she has been a ex-president for Toastmasters. And I will be requesting her to speak for half an hour. Maybe you can try to precise it by 25 minutes or so, and share your views on presentation on this topic. And then I will request after that Rekha Rani Mataji. She also a very special lady who has been attending our programs for long back. And at this point, I request Murari Gopal Prabhu Muralidhar, please introduce her so that the devotees can know her. And she will be presenting around 25 minutes on that topic of modern women versus Vedic women. Yes, Murari Gopal. Murari Gopal, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, brother.
Please introduce her.
Okay. Just there are some meeting. So today, as Prabhuji has already introduced Mega Mataji, there is another speaker, Dr. Rekha Rani. So Dr. Rekha Rani has done his UG in dairy science from a National Dairy Research Institute, Karnal, I think BTech, and then she has done her PhD also. And currently she is working as assistant professor, one of the dairy science college at Prayagraj. And she is having quite good interest in spiritual life. She is regularly attending from last pandemic time our DYS sessions, and she is also having sometimes she's sharing that his father is also having very good interest, and they feed the saintly persons, and they have very deep-rooted spiritual connections. And Dr. Rekarani also have Radhakrishnan deities, and she's serving at his house, and she has good interest in chanting also. So she will be delivering her preparation on modern women and Vedic women. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Okay. Thank you very much, Harivar. So I request Megha Mataji to please on your video, and so that I can add you up to this.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat.
Yes, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. So now the desk or the screen is for you. You required, I think, screening, sharing rights. No?
Yes.
But, yeah. I have given the rights. You please do the name.
Screen is visible, na Prabhuji?
Yes, yes, is visible.
Hare Krishna, everyone. So basically, this topic is very core to my heart, and I'm thankful to Prabhuji for giving me this opportunity. So let's start by reflecting.
Hare Krishna. I
Yes.
forgot to introduce very special person. Behind every woman's success, there is a man. So we have a very special person behind Mega Mataji, and he's trying to hide himself.
Yes, Prabhuji.
So Saurabh Prabhu, can you come? Hare Krishna, please.
Hare Krishna.
So we have the Saurabh Prabhu. He's a pass out from IIT Kharagpur. Very special and dynamic personality. And I can say he is the one who took the bhakti very to the core of his heart and gave to entire family. And now he has, because of his association, like his encouragement, Mataji also took up very Krishna seriously. And they have got a very nice baby now, Narottam. I think he might be sleeping now. So he is also hopefully will take up with so much love and care from the parents, the Krishna consciousness. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Saurabh.
यार ऐसे है कैसे कितने हैं बाबा 15 है बैठ जा
Okay. Can we start now?
You can start.
Okay. Hare Krishna, everyone. So I would like to I would like everyone to just reflect for a moment and think like what picture comes to your mind when you think about a Vedic woman. You know, when I did this exercise, the images were something like this. So, and mainly these images, it came from the school history books, where we were, the incidents were taught like this, that Vedic women, they were highly oppressed class. There was a lot of, sati, the concept of sati, the concept of child marriage, and the widows. It was presented in a way in which I personally started believing that, wow, being modern, we are so fortunate, and thank God I am not a Vedic woman, or I was not born in that era. That was my perception also, and this is what is presented in the history books or whatever sources of knowledge as young minds, as young children, we are exposed to. So our education system is far from being perfect, and we can only come to know the complete truth when we try to dig a bit deeper and try to seek the right answers ourselves. When I did some research, I actually found out that Vedic women are highly respected. They are like, they are like these, the images you can see. They were in all sections of the society. For example, you see the gopis of Vrindavan. We have heard so much. They were actually doing all this buttering, taking out butter from milk. All this was actually business. They were involved in business. We hear the fruit seller story. She was there to sell fruits. She was a working woman. Similarly, there are many examples. The famous Mirabai, the foremost devotee of Lord Krishna, she went against all odds in the society and followed what she really wanted to follow. From contemporary, like 500 years back, Janva Mataji, she organized the first Gaur Purnima festival and was the leader of all the Vaishnavas. So many Vedic women have been present in all sections of society, be it education, be it teaching, be it wars, administration, cottage industry, agriculture, everything, what not have they done? But sadly, we are shown a very wrong picture of Vedic women. So, firstly, let us now set the premise for our discussion today by understanding the main difference between the Vedic society and the modern society. So, the main difference between Vedic society and modern society is that in the Vedic time, the society was God conscious. People followed their duties as per their natural inclinations and as prescribed in the Shastras. They knew what the ultimate purpose of life was and they practiced accordingly. Due to this fact, men and women were actually in the Vedic society, they were more of a collaborators and they were not competing against one another. They knew their roles, well-defined roles, and they excelled in their roles. And that is how they came together in collaboration and which led to the realization of God. This concept is actually very important because men and women have slightly different natural skill set. And the nature is such that if they collaborate, they complement each other's qualities and they're very efficient in all dimensions of life. Okay, so where is the problem? Who is the villain over here? And who is stopping us from collaborating? So what I feel, it is mainly commercialism, which is sheer greed of money. Because of commercialism, people want us to be fools in our lives, not make wise decisions, and that is how the money-making industry will progress. If we are collaborating properly in our personal lives, in our family, obviously we will make wiser decisions and the money-making industry will suffer. So we have to be wise here and understand that men and women have to act as collaborators. So the modern society, you must have heard the term YOLO. You only live once, which is a wrong concept spiritually. So many evidences are there that we are on a multi-life journey and the purpose is to get rid of this multi-life journey. The modern world because of atheism, because of being godless, they feel that the only purpose is sense gratification, and as we are only living once, do everything what you want to do and be happy. But we have to, when we go to at a spiritual level, we understand that even if we do everything, it will not lead to real happiness. Now, after knowing the difference in both the societies, let us dive a little deeper into the understanding of Shastric position of women and the Vedic practices, as it is generally not taught in our schools. In Vedic times, so what used to happen was that women, they had all options available. Basic education was given to both men and women, and after a certain age, they had the option. They could either be a Sadyavadhu, where they actually decide to get married and enter into Grihasthashram. They do all their duties using the entire skill set they have very successfully. The other option women had was Brahmavadini. We have many examples in our Shastras like Gargi, Lopamudra, Sulabha, Gosha. they are all mentioned in Rigveda, that they had the option to stay with their father and they would learn all the scriptures, they would travel, later also they could get married. That was also the option.
बदमाशी देख लें.
So according to Rig Veda, the wife and husband are actually equal halves of one substance. So Rig Veda defines the role of wife by these 4 terms: Ardhangini, which means women are one half of the husband, or the better half. Wife is a sahdharmini, an associate in the fulfillment of human in divine world. She is a sahkarmini, a part to all her husband's actions, and she is a sahyogini, a cooperator in all his ventures. There is, in fact, even a married man cannot do yagyas alone, but a married woman can. So actually, it is only in the Vedic society that women have been kept at par with men. If you look into other societies, you'll find a lot of difference. But in the Vedic society, not only equal, women were actually even more higher than men. They were treated with utmost respect. Women, Shakti, feminine power, it was always glorified. All the goddesses we have, Durga, Lakshmi, Saraswati, all are women. The greatest wars of history, Mahabharata, Ramayana, they were all fought for the respect of women. Bhagavad Gita, there's a verse which says that fame, fortune, fine speech, memory, intelligence, patience, these are all feminine qualities. Yes, they were as we also try to follow in our Krishna consciousness journey, that we address women as Mataji. This is a Vedic culture actually, where we address women as mother. We see them as a mother. And boys also, they were right from their childhood, they were trained how to respect women and how to cherish all the women as mothers. So there comes a question in the mind. Do you only become a simple housewife? Is it not a stereotype? Can't they do anything meaningful? Actually, in a proper Vedic society, women were meaningfully engaged. They were progressing towards the spiritual goal, self-realization, and they were facilitating her entire family. We actually cannot ignore the family, and it is by nature women are more capable of handling children. They use both the left and right part of the brain together, both the emotional and logical aspects together, and then make decisions, which makes them naturally more capable of handling with love, sharing love, giving care and support to the family. Women also serve the community in a meaningful and fulfilling ways, and which leads to progression in the society. Artificial attempts at equality actually leaves women more prone to exploitation. We need not learn from the West about respecting women. Women are subject to needless anxieties due to simply aping the West. We have to get the correct understanding of modern. Modern does not mean Western. So-called Western philosophy does not recognize the women's actual needs. They set an artificial parameter for success, which is not according to the real swabhav or the inherent nature of women. It is perceived as this only if women does the manly activities, only then it is success, which is completely wrong. The natural God gift feminine qualities of women, if that is nurtured and if that is supported, she can actually excel in all facets of life, taking that femininity with her. She does not need to become a man to does not need to become a man to actually be called modern. When there is free mixing in the society, we all are familiar with the newspapers and everything. There are so many wrong things happening: office affairs, rapes, love triangle murders, divorces. These are the reality of the society. The main culprit here is free mixing, which leaves women prone to exploitation by bad men. Not in all the eras, there will be good men, good women, bad women. But if we follow the Vedic concepts, we can protect ourselves and we can lead towards a more higher and meaningful purpose in our lives. If we compare the Western and the Indian aspects, Vedic aspects, this graph shows that actually, if you see the number of rapes, it is much more higher in US. India is at 95th position, so lower, and US and UK, even having such smaller population, is at a much higher rate. It is just that in India, it becomes such a big thing. It is highlighted a lot more because because from the Vedic concept, we know that women need to be respected. So it is highlighted much more. But in reality, we can see that in the West, the rates are at a much higher rate. US has got the first female VP now. India had female prime minister and president much, much earlier than that. So it's a simple truth that we should not copy the West blindly. And West cannot teach India how to respect women. Various examples like Nirmala Sitharaman, she's such a great example of a modern woman. Sushma Swaraj, she's no more, but how selflessly these women, carrying their feminine qualities with them, have actually done such wonderful work in the society. They'll always be remembered. Vedic education was actually not meant for acquiring degrees or earning livelihood. They were focused on formation of character. All this actually came because of the effect of time. With the effect of time, things have changed. Earlier in the Vedic times, the concept of home was very different. It was a very big area. I mean, the home included the agriculture, the animals. There were a lot of dairy thing, and as well as cottage industries. It was not like the factories were not so prominent. Industrialization was not there. So the concept of home was quite large, and men and women both would stay at home, and they were able to have a meaningful, purposeful life. But gradually with time, what happened was industrialization came into picture, mainly after the Second World War. A lot of machines and the concept of home entirely changed. Now we just live in a small flat or a bungalow or a simple place where it is very restricted. And the house, so with the advent of so many machines, household work has also become very less challenging as compared to Vedic times. And due to this concept, this time effect has also led to a lot of changes in the society. And we should understand that one size does not fit all. Every woman is different, and she has her own unique nature. We cannot like define like this is a Vedic woman stereotype and put every woman into that picture. She will not fit there. If, as individuals, as jivas, as living entities, we all have our uniqueness within us. So every woman, every family has to actually see where she is. It's a very personal thing, and then we have to decide uh, how to progress, keeping the ultimate goal in mind. So it cannot be a very stereotype box that women should only be in the house or women should always be working. That is not correct. Women should have the freedom to do everything, but then it is ultimately her choice and her natural abilities where she wants to fit and how she wants to progress. We are, as women, we have a lot of common traits. One thing we need to understand in the society is that the difference between recommendation and mandate. So generally what the Vedic scriptures suggest is a generic recommendation which keeping the larger population in mind for the society, keeping the aspects which will help the society, generic recommendations. But that does not mean that exceptions cannot be there or everyone has to fit in that. Definitely people can have their own ways of finding success in life. So what is the ultimate goal? Ultimate goal is happiness. And my understanding after practicing 3-4 years of Krishna consciousness is that this is the only way which can lead to ultimate happiness, which can complete us. And like listening to being in the modern society and listening to all the news and being exposed to so many things, we have women, if they do not have the shastric understanding, if they do not have the fundamentals correctly valued within themselves, the society is such that we'll be actually left confused, and at the end of life we can just regret. So it's very important for women today to understand the Krishna consciousness philosophy, and if we take it up seriously, we can actually be a modern Vedic woman. Spiritually speaking, so the highest of the devotees were gopis, and see, they are women. And when I was reading Bhagavatam recently, the first prayer was from Kunti Maharani. She's a woman. Ultimately, we are all souls. Men and women are not true divisions. But we can try to be in a framework as conducive as possible for us so that we can practice bhakti. And most women become men in next life, and most men become women in next life. This is a funny thing. If we go by like too much of feministic ideas in our mind that I am a woman, generally what I've seen is if we form very strong feminist ideas within ourselves, we become totally revolting against men in a strong competition. And funny thing is, in next life we can be born as men. So I mean, it's a temporary thing we should understand. Men and women are just externally bodily framework, but ultimately we are all souls, and our goal is to become go back to God, back to Godhead. So women should have the freedom to do everything, go to space, be in the army, be in the police, not a problem. The problem arises when these aspects are considered to be success. These are the wrong benchmarks. Women have a natural niche in a lot of feminine qualities, and there should be a fair chance for all to be for those qualities to be nurtured and practiced. In that domain, it will be more natural for many women to feel comfortable. Today, the situation is such that if a woman naturally desires to be at home, to serve the family nicely, she is looked down upon. Many people will ask, why didn't you get a job? Don't you find something meaningful to do in life? That is actually such a wrong concept. women, if she follows dharma, if she does her duties nicely, she will get so much of spiritual strength, and so much of spiritual strength. Like, we have heard examples of Gandhari. Just by uh, following her duties nicely, she put a blindfolded herself because her husband was blind. So just by that, she got so much of spiritual strength because she did her duties so nicely. So women, they should actually give credit to themselves. They should learn to give credit to themselves because uh, society, due to a lot of commercialization, industrialization, advertising, forgets to give credit to women who are doing their duty perfectly nicely. And it is not that only doing duties at home is perfect. You can, both sides, it, like I said, one size will not fit all. We have to understand, connect with our inherent nature and understand where we stand. We have to cultivate a spiritual understanding and be rock solid in our foundations, and then we can actually be very brave and strong in the modern world and call ourselves modern Vedic women. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. I would like to end the presentation.
Hare Krishna. So happy, Mataji, you spoke wonderful points here. And especially, I was very impressed by the hearing lot of new concepts. You spoke about YOLO. Mother. You only live once. And what is that? You meant all cannot fit in one space. That's very true. Women have their own physiological, psychological, and differences among women only. They have that, and based on that, they should given the space to choose their way of life. That's very amazing, and I really appreciated your presentation. The way you, very synopsis way you spoke it in very balanced from both perspectives, because it is not about extremism. Because feminism is more extremist principle which comes out in a wrong understanding. But we have to understand the right perspective and balance it. Thank you very much for that. Hare Krishna. So now I request Rekha Rani Mataji, please. I request you to please on your video so that I can keep you on hotspot. Hare Krishna. Yes, Rekha Rani. Hare Krishna. That's all. Hare Krishna. So now we request all the devotees. We have very wonderful devotee Rekha Rani Mataji here, and she will be sharing her perspectives in a very amazing. Personally, I went through the presentation. She's amazing. The way she brought out. So we request her, please share. Hare Krishna. You need, if you can on your video, that would be
Hello, is the screen is visible?
yes, Mataji.
So today I am going to discuss the same topic, Vedic women versus the modern women. So in Vedic time, women occupied exalted position, means superior position, and they enjoyed a fair amount of personal freedom and equal rights with men. And in Vedic time, the birth of girl was not that much welcome, but they will not suffer any kind of loss, and they were given the equal privilege entitled to like son. Marriages in Vedic time. Marriages in Vedic time was considered a social and religious duty, and united the couple on equal footing. And couple prayed that their love and friendship should not break in Vedic time. Whereas in modern time, it's not happening. In Vedic literature also says that the Kshatriyas were allowed to settle their marriages according to their own wishes, and there was the custom of Swayamvara, means they can select their spouse on their own choice. So this is an indicator of that their dignified status in the Vedic society. And in Vedic time, the concept of dan and gift was prevalent, whereas there was no concept of dowry system. Whereas in present time, there is a concept of dowry system. Means in Vedic time, parents and the family members are giving whatever they want to give to their daughters. But nowadays, it's not happening. People are means demanding that they need this much, like that. Then only the marriages are happening. In Vedic time, the women occupied a prominent position in religious performance, as Mataji already told, and in and the certain programs were not even valid without the wife. And there was the term was used in Vedic time, dampati. It means that two joint owners of the household. And in Vedic times, women were doing the most of the household work. They were involved in literature, art, music. They were using these types of costumes. And in modern time, the term was popularized by British American writer the Henry James, who used it to describe the growth in number of feminist, educated, independent career women. So independence means not simply the matter of the mind. It involves the physical changes in activity, dresses, and activities like bicycling and taking part in other means like army, navy, and the new women pushed the limits set up by the male-dominated society. The modern women are asking for equality, gender equality, and equal rights in the society. And in the modern time, modern women are not so much responsible for that equal responsibility of home. Sometimes they are not serious about the care of home, are not serious about the motherhood, and sometimes the care of child is taken care of by maids also, because they are career oriented. They have to go for work. So who will look after the child? So sometimes they are managing like that. Whereas in Vedic times, there was a joint family. So, but care of children was taken by like dadi and other family mothers only. So this is a change. This happens. So proper care is not attained in modern time also of child. And in modern time, women are lacking the high level positions, and they are interested for job. Not some women are not interested for career, means they need only job, and because it's constant by the family and the take care of the child. And some women seem to have stumbled to glamour ideas, and they move, and those who are more career oriented, they give emphasis of the sex, means they are not having interest in that, and they are career oriented only. They are focused to work for society. So many women are like that. Our CM of West Bengal, she is focused on society development. So there is a beginning in the recognition of the fact that the change in the status of women may have a deleterious, means that wrong effect on means harmful effect on the man. And when we'll talk about the sexuality and social expectations, so in past time that woman was dependent on the men, especially father, husband, for legally or economically matter, and social or charitable institutions. Whereas in 19th century, women education increased. They are getting career opportunities, and they are getting as well as the new legal rights, and they stepped into new position of freedom and choice when it comes to marital and sexual partners also. Nowadays, the divorce laws changes during the 19th century, and gave rise to a new woman who could survive a divorce with her economic independence intact, which was not happening in Vedic time. So, an increasing numbers of women are also remarried. Earlier, it was not happening, and they are maintaining the social respectability while exercising the legal rights. And there is a class difference also. So, women are entering in universities, and they are studying in colleges, and they are means getting the jobs. They are some are becoming the teacher, professors. Some are becoming the lawyer, doctors, journalist, professors, and women nowadays. Women are in all fields, and some are entrepreneurs, CEO, and they are having the very good position in all aspects. That's all. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
We would like to see your face, but you have kept your video off. Hare Krishna.
Oh, it happened like that.
Yes. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Rekharani Mataji. You spoke so many wonderful updates on the how the modern world is addressing the women's care. Amazing. So you spoke the difference between Kanyadan and dowry. Very interesting. The Dan concept, Kanyadan was a part of it actually. And Swayamvara, this is a very amazing concept which was there. Women had that right to choose also. They were not like even one time, Vedic time, the Vayu came to the one king and he asked, he had 100 daughters, very beautiful daughters. So Vayu wanted to marry them. So then the daughters felt very surprised. Why is coming directly and asking us? They did not want to marry him. So instead of denying him, they said, go and ask our father. We don't have our personal choice. They want to deny it, but they mentioned that statement. And why became very angry with them, and what you call it, he broke their backbones. And then the king was surprised, no, how ridiculous this man was, Vayu, that he is dealing very badly with my daughters. And he was very happy that the daughters abide by the principles of dharma, that a woman can choose. Woman has the right to choose, not she is the forced for certain things. And then he, through the help of one rishi, he got them again back to their original position, and he married all of them to a saintly husband. So in this way, that was taken care. So this concept was very nice what you mentioned. And settle in a modern perspective, the situation which women has taken up, taking into the Western ideas, they had taken a riskful positions, like you're telling about independent, and because of the diverse aspects of coming to picture. And then certainly the government and everyone is working hard to facilitate such women who have taken a life which is in general not compatible as per the psychology and physiological. And that's why this has to be addressed. We cannot turn people back and tell the women to change their nature, what they have right now, but later facilitate them in such a way that could be protected and respected. Thank you, Rekharani Mataji, for your wonderful presentation. So,
thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you very much.
So I am bringing Megha also into picture, and anyone has any questions, please ask both of them. If anyone has any questions here, so please address both of them. Yeah. Megha Mataji, you need to on your video so that I can.
Or
Shreya Mataji, just wait. Yeah. So now devotees can ask questions. Yes, Shreya Mataji, you have some question? Please ask. Hare Krishna. Anyone has any specific question they wanted to ask? Okay, Narottam is got into picture. Oh, is Narottam Megha Mataji's son, Narottam Govinda? He's not visible. Very quite small one. So, the lap of his mother and father is trying to practice Krishna. Hare Krishna. So, I have a question to both of you. So, Rekha and Megha Mataji. One question I'll ask Megha Mataji from her presentation when you are mentioning about that women had a specific roles to play. So I have a question to you, Megha Mataji. This is not my question. This is a question which is asked maybe in the heart of many minds of the many men who are sitting here also. The question is, like you mentioned, that women have their particular, they have to be given the space to go according to their specific nature. So nowadays we see there are certain women who are brought up and in a very Vedic lifestyle, Vedic village, in a village life. Okay, and they are being encouraged by many feminists. Okay, now you come up. There are options for you come up and take up a work. You can be independent. You can be YOLO, whatever. They're trying to be brought up. And there are also, because of Krishna conscious preaching, we are observing that when we mention about the examples from the history about Sita, about all the Pativratas, many of the Matajis who are from urban city life, those are living in urban life, they find it very difficult to digest these principles. So, how to address actually both of them? So how to balance that? What to be spoken to the village settled grown-up ladies, and how to address the urban setup grown-up ladies? So can you highlight something on this?
Yes, Prabhuji, let me try. So, when we are speaking to village born and brought up ladies, firstly, that they should not have any, we should take care by what we say that they should not be suffering from inferiority complex, because nowadays village is also, I mean, even though it's a village, but due to internet and due to social media, people are not, I mean, they are aware about what is happening in the world. Like in earlier time it would happen that they would not know what happens in the modern cities, but in villages also people are aware. But firstly we should address this. Generally what I feel is they uh, and seeing all the things, they feel they get some feelings of inferiority complex. So we should actually, via using the shastric examples, we can convince them that they are doing their duties absolutely perfectly, and we can appreciate them and give them credit for what they are doing. And it is actually not an easy task. Even if you bring, I mean, they are so proficient and excellent in their activities, which from modern perspective people may perceive that it is not important. But if we look from shastras, if we look at what are the prescribed duties of women, even in village they are doing all that very nicely, and they should be highly appreciated towards that. That does not mean that they cannot come out. if their situation, and basically they should not come out just because they want to become modern. They should feel satisfied in what they are doing, because that is I mean, they should understand that only if they come out in the city and work in the corporate, only then they'll be successful. That is not the truth. In the eyes of God, in the eyes of Krishna, they are actually successful already. And when we are talking to the modern women, what I've seen, like when I was before my marriage, I was in presence of a lot of modern women, and what I inherently saw, that although they are having all the facilities, nice job, everything, all the material facilities and so-called social status being very high, somehow they were not happy inside. They also realized that when you have deep conversations with people, even in the modern world, they'll say that I don't know, something is missing. Because Krishna is in everyone's heart. If that point is not addressed, then it is very, the satisfaction will not come, no matter you work in Google, Microsoft, anywhere. So when we are addressing to the modern women, we should tell them the real purpose of life, and we should tell them about the feminine qualities, that it should not be ignored. It is, qualities are naturally within them. Only the proper support system and environment needs to be created, and the respect should be there for both jobs, household work and working in outside also. The respect should be equal, it should not be different. Only so when we speak to modern women, if we address these aspects, that this is the thing which will give you inner fulfillment, then they will run towards I mean, Krishna consciousness, and have a, even with and it's perfectly possible to balance all the aspects.
So nice you have mentioned here. Especially when I heard your explanation about this, I was just recalling two characters from our Vedic perspective, who are famous characters. One is Sita, who in the Ramayana, she had a life where a lot of challenges came in. But because of her upbringing, if you can compare it like from the perspective of like nowadays, just to compare it, an example, it's a village life. Sita had lived a life very simple, and she remained at the background always. And therefore, you see, whatever challenges she got in front of her in the form of what do you call that kidnapping by Ravana, or banished from the Ayodhya, she did not raise her voice. She just remained silent. And in fact, later on, when she went with Ram, later on Ram tested her. And that time also, she did not retaliated, telling Ram, "You are a nonsense. I was with all these years with you, and I'm living for you. Then why you are tested?" Because she brought in upbringing where she always remained a subordinate and silent. But her virtuous qualities are equally comparable, or you can say very pleasing and spiritually very powerful, as that of Draupadi, who is another character in Mahabharata. And this Draupadi, she's an outspoken lady. She is a fire lady. She's a fire woman. Any injustice happened to her, she used to question her husbands also. She used to question her father also. She questioned in the Sabha also. And she is not a lady who remains in the background. When Draupadi's Vastra is happening, she really fought. She raised her voice. And when nobody was protecting, she personally tried her best. And later on, she took the help of an higher master, Krishna. And she really took up opportunities where to go ahead and things. And she's outspoken lady, and Sita is a very, like you say, introvert, and she's like extrovert. But these natures are individual. As you mentioned, I really appreciate. They have their individual natures, and according to their nature, they should be encouraged to take up such profile in their life, and not try to drag them like you cannot tell Sita to be like Draupadi, And you cannot tell Draupadi to be like Sita. Both have their roles to play, and both are equally virtuous ladies with wonderful qualities intact, which are on spiritual terms. Spiritual terms, the woman should always highlight. Therefore, this one principle, which I would like to tell all the participants also, women as per their nature, psychological and physiological, based on their upbringings, whatever it may be, they should be given that space to be like what they want to be. And they should not try to fight for something in comparison with others. Unhealthy comparison will make women get into risky zones.
Yes.
And one of the risks is they compromise the spiritual aspects. Uh, Spiritual aspects means commitment to spiritual life, and also many of the wonderful qualities which women have by nature in their psychology, where they're surrendering to a if that is compromised, then that nature actually doesn't fit them. What nature fits them is in that nature where they can balance their bhakti and also their life. So in this way, that balance has to be. And so this question now, we have around 15 minutes time now. And one chat came here. I would like to congratulate our Chandrima. I think she is there in the participation. Murari Gopal. Chandrima Mataji is there. Chandrima is there. Hare Krishna. She,
Yeah, she is there. Yes, sir.
yeah, Chandrima, she is from IIT Roorkee, and I have also interacted her during the session, and she is blessed by the Lord to, because of that she became a very important role a woman plays, giving life. She has become pregnant, so request all devotees to please pray for her and for the infant within her womb. I hope that infant is also hearing all the Krishna Kada and Kirtans, and surely he will also come up out to be he or she, whoever it is. It doesn't matter. In spiritual life, man or woman, it doesn't matter. It matters whether you are a devotee or not. So that infant will also grow up very wonderfully in the womb and come out very powerfully in service of the society and Krishna. Hare Krishna. So I have one question to hear Rekha Mataji. Okay, you are ready? So this question is specifically I'm asking from the perspective when you say in your presentation you mentioned that women in the modern perspective you see they are taking a lot of various possibilities from the career perspective or for life, living a life and things. And government or the policies have come into picture where they're trying to facilitate such women and protect them. So in your understanding, Rekha Mataji, I would like to know, is that sufficient for the proper respect and care of the such women who are taking up to extreme aspects of feminism? Means they are taking to that risky. Somebody has to risk so that they can give example. Like some women take up to soldiers role, some women get into political roles, some women take up to very high profile roles. We have many matters. And what actually your view on this? Is the government care is sufficient, or what actually thing need to be addressed in protecting and respecting such women who take roles? I'm asking from the
Government is not so much protecting. The main role of protection is given by family only. Government is like extreme steps. So government is helping. When means they did not find any solution, then we have to consult with government. Then only the government will help. The initial support is given by our family members, our relatives, and all. So government to the stage of protection and laws, and these are the later stage. So initial the protection is given by the family members only, as per my understanding.
So you mean basically women are protected basically by the families than the outside. And you see, this concept is more prominent in India because Indian culture has that basic concept founded that women always are protected. Like in Indian cultures, when they are children, they are protected by their fathers. And when they come to young age, they are given in Kanyadan and they are protected. They are supposed to be taken care by the husband, where they are facilitated with their interest and desires. And as they grow old at a particular time, then the children, especially the sons, are given that responsibility to ensure they have sons. If they don't have children, sons, then that daughters only act as play the roles of sons to protect their mothers. So this is very important concept, which is
सेम सिचुएशन से मैं निकल के जा चुकी हूँ. फैमिली का भी बहुत इशू, मतलब फैमिली में सभी लोग रहते हैं. फादर इन लॉ भी है, मेरे हस्बैंड है, मेरी डॉटर है.
So we see that how women are protected because of the Vedic foundation, which is there. Therefore, here comes a very important point, which in your discussion, which I really appreciated. We have to stress spiritual culture a lot, because spiritual culture will actually make everyone stand in their own positions and then go ahead. So when this point comes, the men and women, are they equal? Actually, it doesn't matter. It's not about their equality in terms of, because biologically, physiologically, and psychologically, there are a lot of differences. But what is to be highlighted is, if women wants to play roles which are like against, or which is beyond their psychological or physiological level, the society, especially the devotee society, also should think about it, how to facilitate such women, and not only facilitate but also not give them the knowledge, spiritual knowledge, by which they can protect themselves. See, best protection a woman can do is herself, and that protection should be done by taking the help of the spiritual culture and the knowledge very prominently. Therefore, it's important that all the women, whether they are Vedic life they are embracing or a modern life they are embracing, they should be they should imbibe the devotional principles and knowledge powerfully in culture in their life, so that when they go out in whatever way to help the society, being like a household mother, yeah, or in a society in a very big role, they can do very wonders in inspiring the entire society. Because Stree, by nature, is a very inspirational figure. She always comes at rescue when the situation goes beyond our hands. Just like great wars happened, just like Megha Mataji mentioned, great wars happened for women. And I'll tell you, great revolutions will take place when a woman plays her role beautifully and with lot of spiritual power in her life. Hare Krishna. So thank you all the devotees who have participated in this. And I request Murari Gopal Prabhu, if you would like to share something, because you are
तब जाके डॉक्टर बने. उसी तरह बिजनेस में आज काम नहीं करेंगे. अब आप ये सोचो कि बस पैसा दे दिया और बस हो गया.
Murari Gopal Prabhu.
Yeah, yes, Prabhuji.
You wanted to share something, because I'm hearing in your background a lot of discussion is happening.
No, I'm taking some urgent meeting is going on, so I'm in that meeting also. So
Okay.
you may carry on, Prabhuji.
Okay, fine. So thank you very much for all the devotees who have taken out the time. Now it's 8 o'clock. We'll end here. And I thank both of the Matajis who have prepared very well.
I think so, Prabhuji, these all problems are coming because the women are feeling insecure in present scenario, and the criticism is also one of the factor. Earlier, the women are not insecure in Vedic time. They were secure. If anything will happen, the family or other the in-laws and always support her.
Support
In
her.
nowadays, the cost that cost of everything is increased and no one is want to support. That's why they feel insecure. That's why they want more career and leaving other things behind. Otherwise there is a no need. And those who are not those women who are housewife, that people should appreciate those women. The man should not criticize these women, because they are also leading the very important part of family. For working women, it's very difficult to manage the family and job, and and give the proper time to family, children. So those who are giving their full time to family, so men should and support and means encourage that these women, so that they should not feel inferior, so that all the problems comes due to the inferiority complex. So they are not feeling secure,
Unhealthy
and
comparison.
sometimes yeah, unhealthy, or sometimes that money is also the problem. Sometimes they are not giving them proper right to speak or take any decisions. So these are the so many
But
problems.
you know, like
Sometimes so
Rekha,
it's created by the man thinking, I think so.
so Rekha Mataji, it's always that sometimes you are mentioning about women who feel insecure. Maybe their situation was like that where they don't have that
Yeah,
type of.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So such women I have seen, like in my own family also, I've seen some of the cousins. They have to take up such roles where they have to make their security intact, and maybe that actually fits their psychological and physiological nature, psychophysical nature, and therefore they're going on with that life for a long time. And such women also should highlight spiritual aspects so that their security is full. Otherwise, without addressing spiritual aspect, only addressing these aspects will make their keep life very insecure from many other perspectives. So
So in I can say that in Vedic time as well as in modern time, so either women are working or not, they are financially insecure. So that's also creates a problem in their mind.
that insecurity is happening because of that wrong understanding which they themselves have,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and also the wrong culture which is being spread within their family or in the society where they're living. So
Generally, man is having the mind that they do not trust on women. So the main problem comes from that only.
therefore, such education is very much important. Today, all of you presented very powerfully. This should actually go into the minds of all those men and women who are seeing women in a very downside life, who see women in a very down. Okay. Thank you, Mataji, for your wonderful points.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Very good. Yes. So can we conclude here? We'll do some 5 minutes kirtan and then we'll stop. Okay. Right. I'll just get my kartal or mridangam and we'll do. Jaya Radhe Jaya Krishna Jaya Vrindavana Shri Govinda Gopinatha Madana Mohana. So Radha and Krishna. See, you see, even the Supreme Personality of Godhead valued the feminine aspect of the God. God has both masculine and feminine aspects. masculine aspect, Lord God manifests himself as Krishna, and the feminine aspect manifests the Shakti. The Shaktiman is Krishna, and the Shakti is manifested as Srimati Radharani. And they are not separable. They establish the higher principle. However, in the modern world, in material world, when we are living, we should also take into consideration the present nature, by psychophysical nature of a specific woman individual, and the culture in which they live, and address the care and protection of that particular woman in that situation. Jaya Radhe, Jaya Krishna, Jaya Vrindavana, Shri Govinda Gopinatha, Madana Mohana, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Krishna, Jaya Vrindavana, Shri Govinda Gopinatha, Madana Mohana, Shama Kunda Radha Kunda, Giri Govardhana, Kalindi Jamuna, Jaya Jaya Mahavana. Krishna created Govardhan Hill. Krishna created Yamuna River. Krishna created Vrindavan only for the sake of pleasure of Srimati Radharani. Radharani told Krishna that I will come with you to the material world only when these three things are there. There is Govardhan, there is Yamuna, and Vrindavan. If three are there, then I will come and stay with you. So Krishna had to fulfill her desires. So Krishna respected the needs, or you can say from the modern perspective lesson, Krishna valued Radharani because he loves her. Because he loved her so much, he valued and created whole Vrindavan. Not for her sake she was asking. Radharani asked for all this so that we all can take benefit of it. Because she is topmost mother of everyone. That is the highlighting nature of a woman. Woman is motherly. Shama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhana Kalindi Jamuna Jaya Jaya Mahavana. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Even in Hare Krishna mantra, the Hare represents addressing Srimati Radharani, the feminine aspect of the God, and she gives that nourishment to a devotee in his devotional service. Therefore, we have to always take shelter of the mother Srimati Radharani, and with that strength serve Krishna, the God. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna everyone. Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha, Govinda Radha, Govinda Radhe. Jaya Radha, Govinda Radha, Govinda Radhe. Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Srila Prabhupada. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Bol, Hari Bol. Even Srila Prabhupada in ISKCON society, when he was preaching in the Western world, he saw that their women are quite, they are like more an extrovert. They want to be independent. And Prabhupada encouraged that because he found that their nature is specifically oriented in a particular direction. So he gave them encouragement to be principled from devotional perspective in their life. And he said, okay, you don't free mix. If you want to marry like a man, you marry him and stay with him. And if you don't want, then remain like that and serve Krishna. Accept Krishna in your life and serve him. So similarly, when he came to India, when he's preaching in India, he saw that women in India were quite oriented in a very in a subordinate role, staying back. So he encouraged them. He did not pull them to come front. They used to remain in the silent. They used to cook for Prabhupada in a background. They used to cook like that, maintain. So Prabhupada was a genius in really taking care and respecting the women in both the Western and Eastern worlds. So we can learn a lot of lessons from Srila Prabhupada life also. This should inspire each one of us to take up reading of Srila Prabhupada Lilamrita. We'll be doing this session also sometimes in between. And for next week, because Ram Navami is coming, so we'll have a wonderful topic on Ram. So I was thinking about the topic, what actually to take. I will update all of you the next Friday regarding the Ram and Sita's aspect. In continuation of the topic, what we are having on this, I'll orient and speak. So let me phrase the title, and maybe I'll invite some devotee to share also his views on that. Please keep yourself in the satsang, Friday satsang. And thank you all for your valuable time and focus, attention which you are giving. Hare Krishna.